Let's go ahead and get this out of the way up front. Real estate market statistics are boring. Not for me, but probably for you. But here's the thing. Buying or selling a property in Jupiter, it's a big deal. If you don't suck up this boring, you could end up costing yourself a lot of money or trusting an agent that you probably shouldn't. My name is Casey Prindle. I live in Jupiter and I've been a full-time realtor in South Florida here going on the last 15 years. But this video is not going to be about me. This video is going to be about you arming yourself with the best data that you can so you can make the most informed decision, whether you're considering buying a home in Jupiter or selling a home in Jupiter. I help busy people solve real estate problems. That's my value, whether you're considering buying a home or selling a home. If you find any value in this data, please consider subscribing to my channel. That way you'll be notified when I post new content. If there's something you'd like me to do a video on that I haven't yet, please feel free to comment below, or of course just call, text, or email me. So I received an email from one of you guys that got me thinking about how I shouldn't lump all the data into one video where I had single family homes and condos in the same video, but rather do two videos, one just for single family homes, one just for condos and townhomes. And I think that makes sense. You know, the markets are separate and distinct, so that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do going forward. Though the intros will be the same on both videos because I don't have time to film two different intros. All right, let's start with single family homes in Jupiter. We'll look at the period from April 1 to April 30th of 2024. Sales data is taken from closed MLS sales during that period. Stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to break down the sales in a way that I know no other agent's going to show you, and that's by price bracket. So let's start off with median sold prices. So look, median sales prices, they're down a little bit off the peak here, but still very much on the high side of things, right? I don't really see this moving down much, honestly. We have really limited inventory and we're coming into the busy season. So as I always warn though, single family home median sales price data can be subject to a little bit of a manipulation. If we get a high number of sales on the higher dollar amount, it's going to skew it to the upside. So anyways, look, that being said, 995,000 is a big number no matter which way you slice it, right? All right, let's skip over to the total number of properties sold. This is something I do like to pay a lot of attention to, right? I just think it's logical to do so. So look at this. Up 47.5% month over month. Up 14% year over year, from 76 to 87 sales. So look, you know all those national headlines that are saying Florida's housing market is in free fall and all this other nonsense. Frankly, it's just not true, at least not here in Jupiter. So if you look at this chart, we're pulling well off the lows. Look at this, pulling well off the lows, and we're headed into the busy season. So keep that in mind. List to sales prices. List to sales price is kind of leveling off here, right? Maybe sloping a little to the upside, at least in my experience and observation. I think sellers are getting the message at this point that we're past this kind of crazy period up here. So the tighter the spread is, the less negotiation there is. So if you're pricing better from the start, you're going to see less of a spread. Of course, buyers, they want this number pulling down, meaning that there's larger reduction in price and larger negotiation available for them. So more favorable to a seller, the higher that this climbs, right? Median days on market, down to 40 days here. So looking like we're leveling off, right? Another slide that's better for sellers and kind of worse for buyers in terms of negotiation strategies. If properties aren't sitting too long, it creates less opportunities for buyers to negotiate. They have to make a decision faster. So overall, the lower the days are, the worse this is for buyers, the better it is for sellers. Median price per square foot. Median price per square foot at $483. Look, we're going to breeze over this. Kind of my usual footnote. The good stuff is what's selling. The junky old beat up stuff is sitting, and that's kind of what gets reflected. The stuff that's carrying a higher dollar price per square foot because the condition's better, et cetera, et cetera. This is where it shows up. So again, I'm not going to put a ton of weight into this, but it is something to take note of. All right, total dollar volume. Total dollar volume is something I like to pay a lot of attention to. Look, I want to say a few things on this month's slide before we kind of dig in too deep. There were 3 large sales that were in excess of 10 million. 3 in Admiral's Cove, 1 in Bears Club. The 4 of them totaled together for roughly 50 million in volume. So, this could have easily read 110 million instead of 160 had it not been for those 4 sales alone. So, look, if you take those sales out, we're still roughly $25 million above last month's volume. But that 88% jump that you see here, 88.1%, no, that was kind of made up largely of, that excess 50 million in volume. So take this one a little bit of a grain of salt, but nevertheless, still an impressive run here, right? From 57 million. Big run. Month's supply of inventory. All right, here we go with what the actual issue is in our housing market right now, and that's just not enough inventory. Real estate's, it's really not that tough of an equation, right? It just comes down to supply and demand like any other commodity does. And we simply don't have enough homes for sale right now. We can't just build a bunch of new ones given our geographic constraints, Everglades, oceans, et cetera, et cetera. So what we have is largely what we have, and new inventory comes on slowly. We can't just randomly build around here. We just don't have the land for it. So we're firmly in a seller's market in terms of inventory, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise on the single-family home market, that's for sure. 3.87 months of supply, which is 28% less, see this, than there was 12 months ago. So look, buyers have fewer choices now than they've had in the past, and if we keep heading down here, buyers have fewer and fewer choices. So again, more supply better for buyers, less supply better for sellers. So once again, know where we are in the marketplace. All right, I want to switch over here and take a look at this bracket of sales, which I think is going to be kind of interesting. Now, we touched on this before. 5 million and above, there were 6 sales. 3 million to 5 million, 3 sales. 2 million to 3 million, 17 sales. Now, just a quick flashback, if you watch these videos more towards the beginning of the year, that 2 to 3 million, that was pretty much dead. So that's a big comeback that bracket's had. Between 1 million and 2 million, 21 sales. 1 million and below, 40 sales. So you kind of break it down further. 45% of sales were $1 million and below. 10% of sales are above 3 million. So almost as many sales took place between 1 and 3 million as took place under 1 million. Pretty interesting way to look at it, right? So if you dig a little deeper, there are 163 active single-family homes listed right now for sale in Jupiter, priced between 1 and 3 million. If 38 sales took place last month, that means we have 4.28 months of supply in that bracket, right? So between 1 and 3 million, 4.28 months of supply. Now, this is why I say you got to know what bracket you're in when you're looking for homes or when you're selling a homes. If we look below 1 million at single-family homes actively listed in Jupiter right now, we will find 103 of them. Again, 40 sales took place last month in that bracket, so we only have 2.5 months of supply. So 2.5 months of supply below 1 million, 4.28 months of supply between 1 million and 3 million. Where would you rather be a seller? Where would you rather be a buyer? Right? So it's going to be harder to be a buyer below 1 million. And you're going to have to view the marketplace differently than if you were in a higher bracket. So it's kind of wild to look at it that way. If you go back to my old videos again, you'll see how different this was than more in the beginning of the year. So anyways, that's what I got for you. If you're looking for a realtor in Jupiter that actually gives you this data and understands it, give me a call, text, or an email. Or of course, if you want to talk about real estate, let's grab a coffee or a cocktail. We'll see you next month.